live. Hi, everybody. Oh, my goodness. Welcome to post-championship Wednesday. How are we tonight? You have reached the Our Turf Football Podcast College Edition with myself, me, Sonia, and the greatest, the GOAT, Michelle. Michelle is the GOAT, y'all. Yes. Michelle is the GOAT. I don't think you understand. Michelle is the GOAT.
No.
She don't like to say it. She's the GOAT, y'all. It's okay. We still love you. Hi, Michelle. How are you?
We out. What's up? How are you? I'm good. I'm cold. I should have worn my winter hat so you can know how cold I was.
I was about to say, I hope everybody's staying warm. See, thank you, Kristen. Kristen agrees with me. She says Michelle is the GOAT. She is. Hi,
Don't
Kristen.
Don't believe the hype.
I hope y'all are staying warm, especially my friends in the South who don't really get snow and have gotten a lot of snow. Like, not a dusting. Y'all have gotten inches of snow.
Shout out to everybody in Florida. I know you're freezing.
It's cold out there, y'all.
Yeah.
It's cold. I hope y'all are staying warm. Kate is still celebrating, we think. Oh, Kristen, you're in Maryland? I didn't know that. I had the best Bloody Mary ever in Maryland. I was at we were at a Ravens bar in Maryland, and it was a Bloody Mary with Old Bay on the rim. Oh, so good. So good. But it was really good. I liked it.
When anybody says Maryland, all I see is two crab cakes. So I have no idea. That's all I can think of.
I love me some crab cakes too. Whoo, boy. It is freezing everywhere. I hope y'all are staying warm, but we know that our friends in the school down south, I'll never call them what they are. Hi, Bob. How are you? Hope you're staying warm, Mr. Bob. Always nice to see you. Anyways, but yeah, Kate's out celebrating still her Buckeyes win. They won the national championship, guys. I don't know how to feel about that. I mean, I guess you just got to tip your cap. They did the system, and it worked. They had their 12-team playoff. We had our 12-team playoff. And I will say they got it right. They got it right. But me being the Michigan fan deep down, I really didn't really want to see them win. So there's that. But it worked. I think it worked. What do you think, Michelle? I know you've always been a fan of the 12-team playoff.
Yeah.
And it worked, I think. Do you think it worked?
I think the winner, the person that wins shows me that it works. So the fact that they had 2 losses during the season and that they made the playoffs because it was expanded, and they proved that they were the best team this year, in my opinion. I mean, they beat everybody they needed to beat to get to that championship and beat them soundly. And then they won. And so I think you had the best 2 teams the teams that was there were the teams that were supposed to be there that earned their way there. If you look at the teams that they beat on their way to the playoffs, once the playoffs started, when the teams that they had to face, particularly Ohio State, it was not an easy road for them. They knocked them down. Boom, boom, boom. Like Ali. I mean, they were just throwing jabs to everybody. And so, I predicted that they would win the game by 10. I was 1 point off. I think they proved that they were the best team this year, and they earned that victory. And I don't care what game they won, lost during the regular season, that doesn't matter. You don't have to be perfect. You just have to be the best at the end, and that's what they were.
That is true. They were the best in the end. Now, I agree with Kate. I still think Ryan Day probably doesn't need to be fired now. He just won a national championship, and but they did lose to Michigan this year, which honestly, like I said, still surprised that happened. But I still think they did what they needed to do. Like you said, Michelle, I think that loss to Michigan just kind of got them right and got their minds right, and they just knocked them all down, lined them up, knocked them down, won the games they needed to won them handily, and they were out to play. They were out to win. So,
and Tom Brady's won 7 Super Bowls. We have no idea the teams that he lost to during those times. We just know he won 7. And so it doesn't matter who they lost to in the regular season. They won the championship, and they didn't get it handed to them by a poll like we've done in the past. They had to play games to win it. They had to go and play the games. And so that's why it's more important to me. Versus how we used to do it back in the day when the BCS and you just had a poll and you had everybody's opinions and they told you those were the best teams. But how do we know? Let them play it on the field and let the field decide. And the field decided this year, and I'm very excited about it.
agreed.
Even though I hate Ohio State, but I'm very excited about it.
Same. And I think you made the best point ever by saying that, they played for it. They won it instead of just the polls like we've done in the past, just arbitrary. I mean, even though they had, kind of reasoning for doing what they were doing, still kind of arbitrary, because if we were doing polls, it would have been what, Georgia and Texas?
No, they would have found a way to put Alabama up there with 3 losses. So.
That I don't know. I don't know if they would have still done it that way.
Yeah. They've made it with 2 back in the day, and most teams didn't. So they'd have found a way.
True that.
Look how many people were trying to get them in the playoffs, knowing they didn't deserve
it. They thought they could still sneak in. They thought it was the old regime. Alabama fan, you didn't. And not that I don't like you, but 3 losses. Come on, got to come correct, you guys. Got to come correct. Next year, I think you might be able to make it do what it do. Perhaps. But hats off to the Buckeyes. This is probably one of the only times you'll hear me say that. So mark this day down, everybody. Chat, do all of that. Oh, by the way, if you guys are watching on Twitter, if you're watching on Facebook, come on over to our YouTube channel so that you can interact with us on the chat, and, we can talk and we can say stuff like, Lucky Kate. Yes, Lucky Kate. Yes, Lucky Kate. So the college season is over. It feels kind of weird. I don't know. I don't know. It just feels kind of weird. Like, okay, not much to talk about. On to the draft.
Well, we can talk about who we think is going to be there next year, and I have no idea. So
I really don't have any idea next year because, again, transfer portal, the way things are going, and just how these teams are. Alabama isn't the Alabama that we know and love, right? It's not Nick Saban's team anymore. And
who loves Alabama? I'm just joking. Go ahead. No, not.
I mean, it's not, and it doesn't need to be Nick Saban's team, right? It needs to take on the identity of that new coach. And
that's
I can't remember his name.
Time.
It is.
Yeah, that's going to take some time.
It is, exactly. And that's okay. I think there's one thing that we haven't really learned to do is take the time that, programs need to develop. Programs need to get an identity. And are there times that it could happen faster than others? Sure, of course. But it still needs to take some time to happen. And so you're going to have a 3-loss season every now and then. You're going to have a 5-loss season, especially after some changes, right? That's okay. Correct? Maybe? Yeah. I don't know. I just feel like that. Okay. Yeah, I just think that it's going to be time to develop. So there's that. Now, Kristen asks a very good question. She says, which schools are losing all their best players to the draft? Good question. I think all the big name kids are leaving pretty much. So Quinn is going to the league. Quinn Evers from Texas. That I think, and then they're losing Arch Manning. He's going back to Ole Miss, correct? Well, not back to Ole Miss. He's going to Ole Miss.
Oh, really?
Let me double check that. Now that
I thought that they were handing the keys over to Arch. now
I'm
that
going to
you're
double check.
going to the pros. So I don't really
Archie
know. Like in previous years, Kristen, where Georgia had so many, Georgia was so great, and their team was full of seniors, or not just seniors, but people who we knew were going to the draft. I mean, they pretty much lost all of their players. I don't think there's a team this year that will be as depleted as Georgia was after they won or made it to the championship. Which is why it was amazing that they even made it back as far as they were, or as good as they were this year. I don't know that it's a team that's gonna lose as many people as Georgia did, or some of the Alabama teams in the past. I can't really say. I just know that if you're looking at teams that weren't in the playoffs, like Colorado, they're gonna lose their top two players. When you talk about Shedeur Sanders and Travis Hunter. So you have that tandem right there. So, and then, the portal people it's almost like you're losing players anyway, because these players jump around so much that you could possibly lose half of your team and they not even be in the pros. You just lose them to other teams. So
Correct.
that's always the other thing. So it no longer can we just look and see, oh, they're recruiting these people from high school. Nope, they're recruiting players from other teams. And so, man, you have no idea but to sit back and wait and see what's going to happen.
Exactly. So yes, I lied. Arch is staying. It is
Yeah.
the Arch Manning era now in Texas. I thought I had seen that somewhere that he was going to Ole Miss. But obviously I was wrong. Might have been a fever dream. Knowing me, probably was. But no, Arch Manning is here to stay in Texas. I think that's going to be a very good team. I think it's going to be very fun to watch him play and how he can take the reins. We've seen him a couple times this past season. He didn't do badly, but I think that, making it his team is going to be fun to watch. I'm always
I think the
excited
thing
about
for Arches is that he has a lot of pressure on him to be good. He
Mhm.
can't be mediocre. He can't be, half good or subpar because he has the last name Manning. And so
Correct.
he has to be as good. People are going to want him to be as good as Eli was in college and as good as Peyton was in college. Or hell, they may want him to be as good as Arch was. But just because he has that Manning name, he can't come out and have a subpar season because that's all everybody's going to talk about. So a lot of pressure on the kid to come out and
Mhm.
be good as his name says. So it'll be interesting to see. I'm sure that's what everybody's been waiting on, wherever he's played. So people wanted him to come into the game this year, and take over. So we'll see.
Aw, Kristen's gonna be a fan of Texas just for Arch. I think he's gonna need a little bit of that support too. I think that, like Michelle says, lots of pressure on that poor kid. He'll probably be barfing before every single game. Just so knowing that he can live up to it. Probably not. He's probably used to it. He's probably ready for this. And if I know the Mannings, like I think I know the Mannings, which means nothing at all because I really don't know them like that, but they'll have him prepared. They'll have him ready to go. And I think that, at least from that standpoint, I think he'll be okay. And yes, he does kind of make me feel old. Like these kids now that are playing, I'm like, they're like my kids' age. Like it's really kind of weird feeling. I don't know. They do make me feel a little bit old, but then I'm like, wow, I've kind of come full circle in a way. But that's another story for another day. And are any schools losing their coaches to the NFL? Ba-dum. Actually, there was for a hot second. The only one I can think of was Wink Martindale from Michigan, the defensive coordinator. He was doing some
Oh, I
wrong.
was about to say the guy who used to host the TV show.
Oh, Wink Martindale. See, I thought that was his name. I was like, wait, isn't there like a TV show or something? Anyways, but yeah, he
Game
was
show, yeah.
interviewing. Yeah, that's what I thought. He was interviewing or had gotten called for a couple interviews, but it sounds like he's coming back to Michigan, which I'm excited for. Those are that's the only one I can think of right now. I want to say, did I see Eddie George's name in something?
Yeah, the Bears or one of those teams reached out to interview him. I don't know. They're just interviewing people just to interview them, almost pretty much making fun of the Rooney Rule. Some of these people they're not serious about, but Aaron Glenn is one. He just signed with the Jets. So, but college coaches, not really, because it's all a copycat league. So if they're having success getting coordinators, that's what they're gonna do. If a college coach wins the championship, wins the Super Bowl, someone that was a college coach, he comes and wins Super Bowl, then they all start getting college coaches. That's just what they do. So now they're just moving around to these coordinators, and because look, you got Dan Quinn went over to Detroit, and then you
Dan
got
Campbell went to Detroit.
Dan Campbell, and Dan Quinn is in Washington, who was the coordinator.
Cliff Kingsbury is in Washington.
Cliff Kingsbury, they trying to give him another job now. They even had him in Dallas or so forth, and some people are good at being coordinators, and some people are good at being coaches, the head coach. So I don't know if any of the high school, probably some of these college coaches want to jump to the NFL, considering how the portal has gotten, and all of the NIL stuff. They may as well go to the NFL, unless you want. Deion Sanders, of course, has been floating around Texas. So, but he's told his team that he's staying. But there are people who still believe that Jera can talk him out of Colorado. I don't think so, but
I don't think so either. Yeah. I think he is
but,
at least a man of his word.
He hasn't. He's always been a coach of his sons, and the only thing is, I don't think his sons can get to Dallas. So, if that was the case, then maybe that might work. If they had like a top pick, maybe if they lost a few more games, he may have considered it if he could coach his son again.
I am glad he won't be going to Dallas and will be staying in Colorado, because I think it'll just be better for him. Not that I don't like your team, but I just think it would just be better for him to be in Colorado. That's just me.
I agree. Because it doesn't matter who goes to Dallas. So
True that. Jared's always gonna be there. So there's that. But yeah, big names declaring for the draft. And that's actually one thing that I did kind of notice in the playoff. And correct me if I'm wrong, Michelle, but you didn't see a lot of kids sitting out the playoff this year for draft stock purposes and things like that. At least the ones that were in the playoff. Now, some of the ones that were in the minor bowls, I can see why they would have sat out. Yeah. But I think the ones that were in the playoff, I think that's an added bonus and benefit, is that you actually get to see the star players actually compete. Yeah.
Well, when you're playing for something, you got to play. And those other little minor bowls. And, again, it's such a copycat society and such trendy things. And it takes, one person sits out and says he's going to sit out because he doesn't win his draft. Then everybody starts doing it just because they think that's the thing to do. And then, the next thing you have is a top player say, well, I'm going to play. I'm playing in my games. And then everybody wants to play. But when you add 12 teams to a playoff, and now these teams have an opportunity to win a championship, kids, a lot of them want the NIL and they want the money, but they want to win a championship. They want to win something in college. That's what it used to be in college, and they still want to do that right now. And so they had an opportunity to do that. And so, that encourages the kids to play. You're already getting paid, so now you want to win something. So I think that's the other beauty of the playoffs that no one is talking about. But yeah, we're able to see the kids and we're able to see them play. The other bowls, I personally feel like that they can. I feel the same way about those bowls that I do as the NIT. That you're not invited. So I call that the not invited tournament. And that's how I feel about all the rest of the bowls that are not used for the playoffs. So
I think it's nice. I think it's a nice little exhibition. They get to go out, have some fun.
Wasting
You
school
know,
dollars.
exactly. It gets the school dollars. It gets them extra tape. Players can kind of get themselves seen a little bit more. Get some game film. Michelle's kind of like, I don't know. I don't know.
I tell you what, I didn't watch not one of them. So
Can all players choose a fifth year option, or did that have something to do with the pandemic? I think
the
that was a little
COVID
bit
year.
more. Yeah, I think that was more COVID year, but you're still seeing some kids hang around, and it's like, okay, y'all.
Yeah, they have that COVID year, and I don't know what year that ends, but like I guess if you were there for a certain amount, you can choose that option to stay for that COVID year, and so that's why so many kids stay for 5 years or however many years it is that they stay, but they
6
can
and
choose
7.
that option. Yep.
Y'all need to go get a job.
They have one now.
Yeah, that is true, because they are getting paid. I think of somebody like Cade McNamara, who went from Michigan to Iowa and now someplace else. And it's like, okay, bro.
And look how much they're saying that Brock is getting paid to go to Miami or whatever his name is from Georgia, like $4 million. I'm like,
Yeah,
what?
right. I didn't get that much to go to college. It's all good.
Yeah.
That does bring up a point, that Georgia has now a new quarterback and a whole bunch of other things. And I don't know if they're going to be as highly ranked next year going into things. I think there's going to be a lot of changes. I don't think this is going to be the Georgia that we've known and loved for the past couple years. So, parity. I love it. I think that gives them a nice little chance to kind of recycle and start over again.
Well, I mean, like I said before, they lost a lot of players over the last 2 years. So, they made it happen while they had the teams and the players to do so. But, I wouldn't count Kirby. I wouldn't count him out too much. It's going to be interesting to see that we had this championship and no SEC teams were there. But it's going to be interesting to see who's going to take the mantle for the SEC. We don't know if it's Alabama. We don't, in the past, we've always known that either was going to be Georgia or it's Alabama or probably LSU. Now we don't know. Tennessee was looking good last year. They made strides. Vanderbilt. I mean, you had a lot of different parity. Just like, again, that portal has changed things. And now you have you have this conference where we don't know who's the top team in that conference, who's going to step up and be the leader. And I love it. I swear I do.
It's a great thing. I think it brings in new teams. I think it, everybody, like, I get it. But I was starting to get sick of seeing Alabama all the time. Bring in some new players, bring in some new teams. I like it too. I agree.
Hey, ATM might win the SEC next year. Who knows?
ATM just might win. Yeah, I was about to say it's Texas A&M people for the uninitiated, because their logo looks like ATM. Yeah, see, get that? Yeah, that's why. I love it.
Shout out to Bomani Jones, who always calls them that. So yeah.
Oh, he does? I didn't know that.
Yeah.
But it makes sense. It makes complete sense.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, who's your early pick for next year?
For next year, for the champions or the Final Four, the top four?
Final Four. Give me the top four
for next year in the
Let's
Bay.
Go.
Okay, we're gonna go with Notre Dame.
Okay.
Oh man, let me see. Notre Dame, Oregon.
Yep.
We'll put them back in there.
Yeah.
Ohio State, I'm gonna put them back in there. I'm gonna put them back in there, even though I don't want them to be in there. And then the next team is going to be Clemson.
That's a biggie.
That's 4. Somebody from the ACC got to represent. I'm hoping that it'll be these people, but I don't know. They got to prove it to me.
They got to prove it. I will say Oregon, because I was thinking Oregon. Oregon, I think that school down south, TSIO, the Buckeyes.
Oh man, I didn't pick Texas.
I think the U. I think they're close. Mm.
Let's see.
And then, who's my SEC? Alabama. I know. I think Alabama.
Who did I pick? Wait, I said Oregon, Notre Dame,
the
Ohio
Buckeyes,
State, and Clemson.
and Clemson.
Oh, I left out SEC team again.
You left
That's
out
not going to
SEC
happen
team.
again. That's not going. You're
No,
right.
It's Alabama.
But I'm gonna leave it like that. And I don't know who to pick from the SEC.
Right? I think they're all kind of in the same boat. They're good, but I don't know if they're great yet. And I think it's just more so that they're all kind of figuring out their lives as SEC, as the new SEC, and with new changes coming.
I would love to see Texas get there, though. We'll see.
I think they could still be there. Arch. And I think they still have, I don't know, are they graduating a lot of kids? I don't think they're graduating that many kids, are they? Yeah, hopefully Texas. That's what I'm saying. I don't think they're graduating that many. So they were a powerhouse. They were locked in. So I think that could be a very good team. Same, Kristen. I'm excited to see the cream rise to the top. It's going to be a great year. I think it's going to be a great year.
I don't even, okay, yeah. I picked all of the teams who was just there, huh? You got to do it.
You did.
Well, I mean, you
but
know.
I don't think it's going to be too much different from that. I just think Alabama's going to be there. I think
somebody from the SEC will be there.
Mm-hmm.
That's going to make sure that.
Oh, of course. Of course. I agree. And then the draft is coming up, and I don't know what we'll do. I want to kind of do a combination show between us and the original, or, you know, our NFL show, and just kind of preview the draft and do a couple of draft shows. I think that would be fun. I don't know. We'll have to talk about it. We will have to talk about it. But yeah, I think this might be it for a couple of weeks, just because there's not much going on. If there's breaking news, we'll come back. But I think for right now, we'll just kind of hold on and put us in a holding pattern until we get to like the combine and the draft and stuff.
Yeah.
The OTFB is going to go to the draft and the combine. Okay, I'm not sure about the draft, but they're going to the combine for sure at the end of February. So maybe we'll do like a little preview, guys, to watch out for. And we're going to the Senior Bowl too. So yeah, it's going to be fun. We're going to have a lot
of fun. The draft is where?
Green Bay.
Whoa. Yeah. Wisconsin.
Green Bay, Wisconsin. Why? I mean, I know why, but why? Green Bay in April?
Okay. Have fun.
Yeah, I won't be there.
I always wanted to go, though. I want to go to Lambeau, of course, for a game. I just have to go to one when it's not
7 below.
Yeah.
Right. You gotta go. You have to go in like August. You have to go to like their like a preseason game almost.
Same with Buffalo. I want to go to one of those too.
Buffalo, I think you have a little bit longer. Like Buffalo, you can't go until like October. But Lambeau,
nope. You stuck in Buffalo. Nope. Negative. Nope.
I think you have at least till the middle of October.
I only go into one in September. That's it.
Yeah, definitely not going to Lambeau past September because it's like that's the north. That's like Canada. I got a good look at that's in Canada. That's like UP, Michigan. Beautiful fall colors, I'm sure, but it's too cold. Got to go in August.
One day.
One day. You go. You have fun. Tell me all about it.
I will.
Please do. All right, everybody. Well, that'll be our show for this eve. Congrats to the Ohio State Buckeyes. Yeah. Blah, blah, blah. Who'd you lose to, though? Okay. Anyways. So, yeah, you're welcome, Bob. You guys, everybody stay warm out there. My friends and family in California, y'all stay safe out there. Drive carefully, look both ways before you cross the street, those types of things. Bundle up, bring your pets in, get gloves for your hands, watch your ears, they get cold. Sorry, I care about y'all, okay? All right, you guys, well, stay tuned. We'll let you know when we're coming back. Like I said, probably before the combine and before the draft, we'll hopefully do a group show. It'll be fun. But thank you guys so much for rocking with us in our inaugural season. We'll be back next season talking some more college. And yeah, can't wait.
Can't wait.
All right. Bye, you guys.
Bye, Kristen. Bye, Bob. Bye,
Kristen.
everyone.
Bye, Bob. Peace out, y'all.
Peace.